So with the bros, man. Um, Today I got a few requests about certain things to talk about in regards to like being in the shoe. Um, it's a lot of things. Being in the shoe, being a father, the effects of like riots and trauma in prison and stuff like that. And so I think one of the one I'm gonna talk about today is the trauma of being in solitary confinement for so long, and then coming out of solitary confinement, and then just how that plays on a person's mental health and mental well-being. So I went to solitary confinement because of, if y'all been paying attention to the page, the situation with Tony Fantana. Like, so Tony went to Calipat, Boss Up went to High Desert, and then Boss Fetty went to, I want to say Pelican Bay. But he ended up going to the he went to the shoe, got out, went to Pelican Bay, and came back before the time I got out the shoe because I ended up getting to the situation with my celly. And so when I was in the shoe, I didn't have like a TV, I didn't have a radio, and so I basically I had nobody to send those things to me neither. So since I was there so long, I could have had somebody send it to me, but I didn't have no family support or nothing like that. And that's when I ended up meeting Ruth, my ex-girlfriend, who like helped change my life in prison as a broke nigga, from broke nigga to a nigga who get money. Hopefully she want to do a sit down with me so that y'all can hear from her how we ended up starting that. But yeah, when I went to the so I ended up getting a year solitary confinement after the assault on an inmate when me, Tony, Boss Up, and Boss Fetty attacked them niggas or whatever. And so after that, when I get to the shoe, I had a few cellies, but that's when I met a few Black Panthers, Abdullah, he's also BGF, and Hashima. And I also met Kambui. I'm gonna tell y'all about Kambui too. That's my dog to this day. I met a few other reputable BGS because this is at the end of the indeterminate shoot sentences where they was back there because the influence on the yard was so big that the California Department of Corrections tried to separate them from lower level type of inmates. When I say lower level, I just mean like regular level foes. Even though we violent, we with the shit and all that shit, but at the same time, they had a bigger influence on niggas like me, which is a violent, active nigga willing to do that stuff for the cause. And so, hopefully I can do a sit down with them because these is real, like legitimate Black guerrilla family head honchos, and like, you know, they had a big impact on me. And that's what I think kept me sane in the shoe, is because when I got there, they knew I didn't have nothing. So they basically was able to implore on me the ability to read and to learn. And that's when I came across the term dialectical theorism, which is the absolute understanding of what, like, basically like when you read, but then you know the understanding and the actual meaning of each word that you read, to have a full scope and knowledge of the subject that you're researching. That's what I learned in the shoe. So that's what probably kept me sane, because I've seen people go crazy in there from just being in there by themselves. Like 100% of the time, you're by yourself. You could talk on a wire. You could talk at when you're in the cages. In the cages, it's like it's recreation, but each cell goes to one cage at a time. It's locked, and you're in there with your cellie. If you have a cellie. Now, if you don't have a cellie, you're in there by yourself. And so you could talk for whatever amount of time you on the yard with these other dudes. And so in the shoe, it started to play a effect on my mind and my state of being, because like having nothing, I didn't have no deodorant, I didn't have no soap, I had no toothpaste. And that's the basics. Lotions, shampoo, which is hygiene items. Now, food because they feed you, but they don't feed you to where like you're satisfied or you just they feed you enough to keep you alive. They don't feed you enough to be like, oh, I'm full, or that was a good meal or whatever. And the good meals aren't good meals. They're just better than the trash that you usually eat. And so, and then there's days when it's trash. Like they had this one kind of fish. I still don't know what their name is, but it was almost translucent, so you can see through the fish, and it's fully cooked. And it had a strong fishy odor. And they really will feed this to people. And sometimes it'll be weeks where I guess the kitchen ran out of things, and so they'll give it to us 2-3 times in 1 week. So if you don't have nobody that's looking out for you, then that's what you got to deal with. This translucent piece of fish, a tiny scoop of rice, tiny scoop of vegetables, 2 pieces of bread, and a Kool-Aid pack, and that's your dinner. So I say that because that plays a part of your mental state too. Is because it's like, damn, like you start to feel sorry for yourself. Like, if I work out, I'm gonna stink. If I stink, then even the CEOs would say something like, gosh, damn, bro, you need to take a shower. Even if they give you some state issued soap, which is not strong enough, it's just, once again, enough to get you by. So if you use 5 of those little itty bars of soap on your body and you still stink, or you may not stink, but since you don't have no deodorant, you're going to stink soon. So then you go from that's a part of it. Then you in there by yourself and you start to think like, damn, like, what did I do to get in this situation? And I'm gonna keep it G. Like, sometimes you think like, man, I did all this shit for the homies and the homies ain't do shit for me. And that's, to me, that's a weak state of mind. And then some people will build on that. But then some people will be man up and say, you know, I did do that. Like, in just like if I was to make $1 million, like, I'm not going to donate that to the homies. But the niggas that I rock with, yeah, we all gonna eat. But that don't mean that everybody from my hood gonna eat. And then that don't mean like, and everybody is flawed. I got my own obligations too. And so I started to be a man and say, okay, you know what, them niggas don't owe me shit. Them niggas, like, I didn't join a gang. I'm from this hood that is a gang. And so we didn't have no choice if, oh, I'm gonna be from Oak Park. I'm gonna be a blood. I'm like, it was a known understanding. Like, I grew up here. This is where I'm from. And once I got to jail, I took part of things that made me a part of this gang that I didn't even know. But I'm true to that. But so in the shoe, that's playing a part of your mental. And then if you're working out and then you start to get lonely too, like, gangsters need love too. That's a song, I forget, it's an old school song. But gangsters need love too. And if you ain't having constant communication with a female, you see it, that's starting to play on your mind like, damn, am I ugly? Am I boosted? I started to get scared. Like, when I get out, am I going to be able to talk to a female? Like, cause I was like, man, like I talk to niggas and it's true to this day that I talk to men so much that the way it translates to a woman is all aggression, and it makes them scared because for so long I was in an aggressive environment and that's all I knew. And I don't have to give you sympathy. You're a man. And so if I'm dealing with a nigga who keeps fucking up and doing the same dope fiend shit, weirdo stuff, just like, or coward stuff, it's like I don't respect that. So then I talk to men a certain way, and it became a part of who I am. So now when I talk to people, they just like, damn, like this, like, it's not even being blunt. They just think it's like, this thing's an asshole, because all I know is I'm just gonna keep it one way. This is what it is. I don't even want to play with you. I'm not finna try to like finesse it. I ain't trying to trick you. I ain't trying to manipulate you. I'm not trying to do none of that. This is what it is. There's no deception. And so that comes off differently in this world that we live in today. And so that plays a part of your mental health too, being in this solitary environment. So then when you talking to other men, and sometimes you trade magazines and stuff like that. And so niggas read these inserts on these magazines, and they talking about women like this, or women want this, and women believe this. Boom. So then you start to have a conversation with yourself because you in solitary about what they saying, and you trying to dispute what they saying to yourself, which is a deterioration of the mental state also. And so then when I finally did get a celly, he had a TV, he had a radio, all that little stuff. So then that gives him a position of superiority in the cell. If he don't want his TV on right now, he can turn his TV off. he don't listen to music right now. He turn it off. He can turn it on whenever he wants to. Okay, it's his TV in the middle of the night. If I'm asleep, he's gonna turn it on. I want to watch TV. It's mine. And so it's like that's once again that plays on your mental health, because now it's like that's out of your control. Like not only are you in prison and you can't move freely about what you want to go do, now this man's in your space, this small space, and he can do as he pleases, and you have no control over that. Like I done had a nigga like take his TV, and so the beds is side by side in Corcoran. So, and there's one like TV stand place where you put your TV. So he took it to where, and he turned it just far enough where I couldn't even see it from the side. I would either have to like lean over or get up and go sit on the floor just to watch this nigga TV, and that's degrading in itself, which is another thing on your mental health. And so when you going through this shit and you like, damn, like all that shit starts to pile up on you, pile up. So then I end up getting stabbed up by that nigga I just was talking about. And because we was fighting and he was an older nigga, so, and he was short, couldn't fight because I'm 6'6". This nigga like 5'9", 5'10". Them niggas always think, nigga, I ain't that little. Nigga, you little. You're 5'10". Like, I'm not that little. It's niggas bigger than me and I'm like, damn, that's a big old tall nigga. And I'm 6'6". These niggas is 5'9". So what you think about a nigga that's 6'9", a foot taller than this nigga? 6'10", 7'2", whatever. Anyway, so then I ended up beating him up. He stabbed me up later. So then that had to, because then you writing letters to your family, hey man, you know, this nigga attacked me and all this stuff. And all, we got into it. And it ain't no response. Like, it ain't like a letter like, man, keep your head up. I'm doing bad right now. You know, you in my prayers. None of that. It was just nothing. So I'm wasting stamps. I'm like, because they give you free stamps. So I'm thinking to myself, if I save these stamped envelopes and send them to somebody who cares, then it'll be better. Which ended up being Ruth. But before that happened, it's like, that's playing a part of my mental health. It's like, I'm not, nobody's saying, man, I ain't heard from you in a while. Are you okay? Nobody. Not even my mama. Like, I'm not even trying to put her down or anything like that. Tell her birthday too. But it's like, that all that takes a part of your mental health. And so now you in prison. The solitary is like jail inside of jail, which is the worst. And so I ended up getting stabbed up. Then after that, because I was a victim of a cell, I'm in there 24 hours by myself. I can't have a cellie until IGI do a full investigation to see if I'm a snitch, pedophile, something. I'm a dropout. They trying to figure it out, like, why did this nigga stab you? He stabbed me because he couldn't see me from the hands. That's also another reason you can get stabbed. Most niggas don't know like that too. Like, okay, this nigga's scared. I'm a big old nigga. I'm 6'6", 250 pounds. Niggas don't want this, and I can fight. So then, that happened. So then now I'm like 24/7 by myself, thinking. So I'm thinking about how nobody loves me. Thinking about I got this much time left. At that time, I think I said I had like 7 more years left, 8 more years left. No, I had like 6.5. I ended up doing like 5 in Kern. So I had like 6.5 years left. Boom. So yeah. So I'm in there. I'm just surviving. And so then when I get out the shoe, I go back to the yard. And now I'm weird because I didn't have to do all this time in solitary, which removed me from the current politics of the yard, which made me more paranoid, more suspicious, and all of these things. So then having that and moving forward from that into back prison, and then just the anticipation of getting out. So my mom asked me to do that, the anticipation of getting out of prison, which was it's a whole different video. But all of that stuff takes an effect on your mental health. And it's hard because like I've seen people not come back from that because it's hard. Like you have to have, one of the OGs in the shoe told me, it's called fortitude. Fortitude is mental strength. It's mental, like resistance to just like giving up. And so I credit myself a lot to that because I know a lot of dudes that went to prison and got strung on drugs. I know a lot of people that went to prison got gay. I know a lot of people who went to prison and became a coward. They became Christian. Oh, I'm not. I know a lot of people who did that. And that's why I see myself so highly, is because I've never done none of those things. I've become a better person. I've become a more confident person. I've become a lot more things than I would have been had I not been in prison. And so that mental trauma would have broke a lot of niggas just dealing with what I had to deal with. And it's been times like I had women that was holding my money run off on me with all my money, and I owe certain niggas 1,000 here, 1,000 there, 2,000 here, because I'm a money man. So when even in a real world, when you trying to make some money, most times you're going to go in debt in order to make money. And so even in prison, you'll go in debt to make more money. And so when somebody, I even though I have money to cover myself, if you take my money while I owe somebody money, now that's a state of panic. Because say if this nigga like, well, I need a payment today. I need my money right now. And you don't have it. Now you're like a thief or a liar or a bad businessman. But all of that plays into the mental health and the mental state. And so that's just something else. Like, you know, if y'all heard something that made you want to ask another question, ask me. But for sure, promote me. Subscribe, like, share. Run me up, y'all. Run me up.